Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today we are from Group One. Would like to discuss about Supermokh with motor neuron disease. Firstly, I would like to introduce our team member. This team consists of four group members. First one is Muhammad Aiman bin Fakul Azman, second one Muhammad Irfan bin Hazlan, the third one Muhammad Azim Al-Kamal bin Muhammad Rizal, and last one is Shazwan bin Sharudin.
Before we jump into our main topic, MND, motor neuron disease, firstly, I would like to introduce all of you about Supermokh. So, who is Supermokh? Supermokh, or his full name, Datuk Muhammad Mohtar bin Dahari, was born on 13 November 1953 in Setapak, Selangor. He was a professional footballer and considered a legendary footballer in Malaysian history. He only played for FA Selangor and Malaysia during his football career starting in 1972 until 1987. FIFA recognized Supermokh as among one of the top international goal scorers in men's football history, and he was nicknamed as Supermokh because of his incredible playing skills and strength.
Next, we proceed to the next part is how Supermokh dead. In the 1988, Motadari gets infected by the mysterious disease that can be solved by the health science at that time. And then next year, next one year, in 1989, Motadari was confirmed to have muscular dystrophy, one type of motor neuron disease, and after hearing that, went to London for further treatment. And last one, in 1991, Motadari died at Subang Jaya Medical Center on Thursday, July 11 at 8:35 a.m. So, what is motor neuron disease? Motor neuron disease is a name for a group disease. Diseases affect nerve known as motor neuron or motor nerve. In MID, this neuron degenerates and die. This causes the muscle become weaker and leads to the paralysis.
Now I will explain the type of motor neuron disease that have. So there are actually have five type of motor neuron disease, which is amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, in the short form ALS, we know it, primary lateral sclerosis, secondly progressive muscular atrophy, fourth spinal muscular atrophy or SMA, and lastly progressive bulbar palsy. So each type, they're affecting people in different ways. There can be a great deal of overlap between all these forms. Now I will explain one by one all the type of motor neuron disease that we have. So first we look at amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, which is ALS. ALS is a fatal of motor disease. It is also known as Lou Gehrig's. There is a progressive degenerative disease that destroys live nerve cells that destroy the nerve cells that control voluntary muscle movement. Many doctors use the term of MND and ALS interchangeably. ALS, we also need to know that are considered sporadic, which means the disease seems to occur at random with no clearly associated risk factors and no family history of the disease, which means this kind of disease is like a suddenly disease come from that people. But we can detect the symptoms, which is muscle cramps, tight and stiff muscles, slur and nasal speech, and difficulty chewing or swallowing. So that is for ALS. And for the complication, we're gonna be got breathing problems, speaking problems, eating problems, and dementia. So dementia is not a specific disease, but it's rather a general term for the impaired ability to remember, think, or make decisions that interferes with doing everyday activities. So that's for complication from ALS. And lastly, for ALS, most people with ALS die from respiratory failure, usually within 3 to 5 years from the onset of symptoms that someone with ALS will survive. However, about only 10% of people with ALS survive for 10 or more years. Next, type of MND is progressive bulbar palsy. The short name we call it as PBP. PBP is a motor neuron disorder that involves the lower motor neurons. These neurons conduct messages from the brainstem and spinal cord to the brain. Initially, patients with PBP only have muscle weakness that affects speech and swallowing. So it's going to be bad for at the mouth. So, what is the symptoms of PBP? So, the symptoms that we got from the PBP disease is weak jaw and facial muscles, loss of speech that worsen over time, limb weakness, emotional lability, muscle twitching in tongue and face, and weight loss. Many ALS experts consider PBP within the spectrum of ALS because the majority of individuals who begin with this form of disease eventually develop more widespread MND. People with PBP can have emotional changes and may begin to laugh or cry at inappropriate times. We can say that if someone get a PBP will be like a crazy people, suddenly act like a weak guy. Thirdly, for the type of motor neuron disease is primary lateral sclerosis, PLS, for the short term. PLS is affects only the upper motor neurons, causing the movement in the arms, legs, and face to be slow and difficult. The cause of PLS is not known. In most people, the disease is not inherited. So, what the complication? What we will get if we got with some people will get this PLS? It can take as long as 20 years to progress and become worse. People with PLS may develop problem with their thinking, known as cognitive decline, affect the quality of your life as more muscle become disabled. Individuals may also experience emotional changes and become easily stuttered. So there is complication for PLS, and the symptoms that we want to know if someone get the PLS is weakness, muscle stiffness and spasticity, clumsiness, slowing of movement, and lastly problem with balance and speed. Now we go to the second line of motor neuron disease, which is the number 4, progressive muscular atrophy, PMA. PMA it is a rare type of memory that involves slow yet progressive deterioration of lower motor neurons. PMA large affects men and usually at a younger age than most other adult onset MNDs. The cause of the disease also seem like the third one, unclear, and there is no cure. Symptoms of PMA is most patients are likely to experience is muscle weakness but also has other such as weight loss, fatigue, respiratory problems, muscle cramps, twitching and pain, and flail arm syndrome. So the factors that some people get the PMA is variable, sudden and unpredictable. This is called sporadic. So we can say that PMA also like the ALS it can suddenly come to that people. However, research indicate that environmental exposure to toxins, viral disease, and genetic factors plays a significant role. So that is for explanation PMA. Lastly, for the type of motor neuron disease is spinal muscular atrophy, SMA. SMA is a disorder affecting the motor neuron nerve cells that control voluntary muscle movement. Also, seem like another type of uh, motor neuron disease. Symptom of SMA is involve a weakness of the muscle that control movement. Involuntary muscles weakens the muscle closest to the center of the body, affect breathing and swallowing. So there are symptoms and the factor why the people get the SMA is a genetic disorder. Most of SMA formed by mutation of the survival motor neuron 1 gene on the fifth chromosome, resulting in the insufficient expression levels of the SMN protein. SMA is classified into three main types based on age of onset, severity, and progression of symptoms. All three types are caused by defects in the SMN1 gene. So we're going to look at the next page. What? the three type of it.
So these are signs and symptoms of MND. Firstly, muscle ache, cramps and twitching. Second, clumsiness and stumbling. Third, weakness in hands, arms, legs and voice. Fourth, weight loss and muscle wasting. And lastly, fatigue.
Now, now let's talk about what are the factors or causes of for a person to have a motor neuron disease. Let's dive into that, shall we? The first factor would be the exposure to viruses. The development of motor neuron disease may be aided by dormant virus that are hidden within the human genome that is reawakened stage. Both internal and external factors such as additional viral infections, trauma, stress, or an immune system that is weakened, and those factors can start the reactivation phase of the dormant virus, hence motor neuron disease. When it comes to genetic factors, an error in the genetic code that provides instructions for synthesizing each protein in our bodies results in inherited motor neuron disease. That's why there are some research saying motor neuron disease is a hereditary disease. Although this error is inherited from parents, a person can carry the gene but not have the illness. They just carry the disease. So neurotransmitters are chemicals that carry information from one neuron to another and are produced by certain genes that make the proteins. For different neurons in networks to be physically connected to one another, or other proteins are necessary. So proteins are essential for for the genetics. Now, as for nerve growth, in general, as we grow older, our body is weakening. It's not growing stronger. So our nervous system and brain naturally alters as we get older, as I said. So atrophy is the loss of weight and nerve cells in the brain and spinal cord. The transmission of messages by nerve cells might start to slow down. As nerve cells degrade, waste materials or additional substance like beta amyloid may accumulate in the brain tissue. So the primary cause of neurons not dividing is that they lack of centrioles, an organelle essential for cell division. They only consist of cell body, dendrites, axon, and etc. Now, this is going to be a long one. Inflammation and damage to neurons caused by an immune system response. So mammals, meninges, meninges contains a network of lymphatic that runs along the dural venous sinus and extends onto the dural matter surrounding the brain. The central nervous system is thought to be the immune privileged because it lacks lymphatic vasculature. Now, what does it mean by this? It's because it means our body has an immune system, but there are a selected few sites don't that doesn't connect organs that doesn't connect with the lymphatic system or immune system. Now, anatomical regions known as sites with immune privilege, as I said, are inherently less vulnerable to immune responses than the majority of other body parts. But when it is encountered, they're normally recognized as foreign antigens by the body and attacked by the immune system, causing damage to the neural cells. This also applies to if you get hurt so badly in the eyes, the immune system will catch up and recognize the antigens in the eyes as a foreign substance. Hence, the immune system of our body will attack these foreign antigens in the eyes, causing you to go blind. And if unfortunately, if one eye has been blinded by the antigens of the immune system, it is possible the other eyeballs would be affected next. So examples of immune privileged organs are, as said in slide, are eyes, placenta and fetus, testicles, and the central nervous system, where neurons resides. Now that we have talked about what are the factors or causes of motor neuron disease, let's talk about the treatments or any other further research regarding motor neuron disease. Now, the second treatment is physiotherapy. Physiotherapy aids in the restoration of function and movement in those who have been impacted by disease, injury, or disability. It may also lessen in this case, our future risk of getting risk or getting sick or injured. Muscle weakness is a primary symptom of motor neuron disease and it gets worse with time. Usually the feet and legs or the hands and arms experience the first symptoms. A person with motor neuron disease may become nearly completely immobile as the condition worsens, meaning people who suffer motor neuron disease cannot stand up or walk or use their legs much, requiring the use of wheelchair to perform daily activities. While physical functions decline, cognitive abilities hold steady, and your senses of smell, sight, and memory do not change. So, for example, examples of physiotherapy that a patient of motor neuron disease, can do are exercise and stretches, joint care, and breathing exercise and chest clearance techniques. The third treatment is quinine medicine. In MND or motor neuron disease, these neurons degenerate and die, as you said in previous slides. This causes the muscles to become weaker and weaker. Spasticity and cramping of the muscles can be brought on by damage and degeneration of motor neurons. So, because quinine seems to lower the excitability of the motor end plates, motor end plates is a picture that I've sent here, which lowers muscle contractility. Most patients believe it helps with their leg cramps. So if you or other relatives have leg cramps, quinine is the best medicine. Next, the baclofen medicine. So baclofen in general is a muscle relaxing medicine. It is used to relieve muscle spasms, cramping, and tightness caused by the motor neuron disease. By acting on the spinal cord nerves, baclofen reduces the frequency and intensity of spasm in the muscles brought on by multiple sclerosis or disorder of the spinal cord. It also enhances muscle mobility and reduces pain. But the side effects of the baclofen are diseases, headaches, constipation, and difficulties falling asleep or staying asleep, and etc. Now, the next one would be the gastrostomy tube. As I put in the picture, that picture is the gastrostomy tube. Now, the muscles involved in chewing, swallowing, and breathing, and feeding can weaken then function less effectively in people with motor neuron disease, meaning your digestive systems are not going to get good when you are having a system of motor neuron disease. For those who do, for those who do, it might make it impossible to eat or drink normally. This may cause you to feel even more exhausted. Chest infection can result from food and liquids entering the lungs improperly. Instead of you joining Instead of you eat and the food goes into your stomach, it goes through the trachea, not through the esophagus, a condition known as aspiration. So, how to solve this? Well, gastrostomy tube, I'm so sorry, gastrostomy tube provides a way for them to continue receiving food and fluids as well as their medications.
Now we are at our last section in this video, the Muqtadahari. The conclusion that we can get in this video, we can know properly how our legendary footballer, known as Supermokh, died by getting motor neuron disease (MND). We can know the type that has a motor neuron disease (MND), that in this video has explained 5 types of them, and we should know what causes the symptoms and how the treatments for MMD. This is the list of reference that we use to do some research to complete this video about motor neuron disease, what kind of disease that Supermokh get. This is the source. Again, thank you for watching. We hope that with this video give a benefit to you, give a new knowledge for us. That's all. Thank you very much.